In Western games, gods are usually the final boss. You beat them, absorb their power, and rewrite fate. But in Honkai Star Rail, there's a god who doesn't fight. He burns. Again and again and again. Meet Phynon. He's died over 33 million times, and each time he kills a version of himself. Why? Because if he ever stops, a force called the Lord Ravagers will be born, an entity that could annihilate everything. This isn't just a tragedy, this is a cultural shift. So today we're asking, what makes a god? And how do Eastern and Western games answer that question completely differently? In the West, gods are rebels, tyrants, or monsters. Kratos slayed Zeus. Elden Ring pits mortals against divine order. Even in Hades, you find your own godly family. It's all about power, about breaking free from divine control. In contrast, Eastern thought sees divinity through a very different lens. In Buddhism, gods are an outsider cycle. They're trapped in it, just like us, reborn again and again in samsara. In Taoism, balance is the goal, fighting is resistance. True strength comes from yielding. And in Confucianism, you don't overthrow order, you embody it. Duty is everything. So what happens when a game builds its world on that foundation? In version 3.4 of Honkai Star Rail, we meet Phynon, a god. Yes, but not one you fight. His job, keep Amphorius alive. His method, die, over and over. But here's a twist. He's not just being sacrificed. He made this loop himself. Phynon discovered that if the core flame cycle ever completes, it will burst the Extinction Monarch, a being of cosmic annihilations. So he rewrote the ritual. He absorbed the flame into himself, became the Flame Stealer. He killed his past self, passed on his memory. Now, every Phynon kills the previous Phynon to stall the cycle. He lives long enough to remember why, then dies willingly to teach the next. Let's compare. Kratos fights the gods and becomes one. Phynon is a god who gives everything to stop destruction. One is about conquering fate. The other is about accepting it to protect the others. Western gods are adversaries. Eastern gods are guardians bounded by responsibility. And that's the key difference. One sees power as something to take. The other sees power as something to carry, for everyone else's sake. Why does this matter? Because how we portray gods in the games tells us how we see the world. Are we fighting to free ourselves from destiny, or living to fulfill our role within it? Honkai Star Rail gives us a divine figure who's vulnerable, gentle, and utterly selfless. That's rare, and it's challenged the global gaming narrative. It asks us, is sacrifice weaker than resistance, or is it the strongest act of all? And maybe that's why this story hit me so hard. I grew up in a Buddhist school, surrounded by ideas of karma, cycles, and quiet compassion. Now I'm attending a Christian school, where divinity means power, judgment, and salvation. Seeing gods like Phynon, it makes me wonder, not just what gods are in games, but what they mean to us.